it's Friday afternoon and we are going to be talking about brushes today. So I have got a selection of my go-to brushes. There's about 25. I'm going to run through them really quickly. I go from full face to the eyes, and that none of them are overly expensive, and you are able to get them all from the shops, online, wherever. So first of all, I wanted to talk about foundation. Okay, so you've got 4 different brushes. Which one do you go for? What coverage do you want? You know, it is a very confusing out there, the brush world. So if you're wanting to go for really quick, easy peasy application of foundation, this is my go-to brush. I need to clean it. This is mine. I don't use it on my clients. This is mine. It's £5. It doesn't feel, it's plastic, you know, it doesn't feel anything special, but it looks nice and it feels lovely, and it's quite dense, so you can really get the colour in if you want, or you can literally just sort of brush it all over and just get a really easy coverage. You can use that with the like a tinted moisturiser as well. So there's that one. That's the Revolution brush, okay? Next, you've got like a stippling brush. Again, this one's quite a soft one, okay? So the coverage on this one would be quite light. You can either sort of buff it in, or you can literally do this and get a lovely coverage. If you're doing the buffering, you're going to be the buffing, you're going to get a higher coverage. So it's entirely up to you. It's not always down to the brush, it's down to technique too. So you'll get the same application out of those 2 brushes, but if you want a higher coverage, you can do with those brushes, okay? But they're designed for more of a light one. If you're wanting a really quite a thick coverage, so if I was working on a photo shoot, anything to do with cameras, I would be putting it on heavier, because you want it to be noticeable. To the human eye, they might go, oh, that's quite a lot of makeup, but I want it for that type of thing, you know. And some people do like really heavy makeup because it makes them confident and they feel better. So you would go in with these. Now, if you think about it, this is a really dense brush, okay? There's a lot of bristles in here. eBay, £2-3, really cheap. And it's great to put in your makeup bag as well. So you would put the foundation on and you would just sort of move it in. Again, if you want to go lighter, you can do, but this is a heavier coverage, okay? If you think about it, if you were to dip your finger in paint, like really got it out and then paint it over here, that's a thick coverage, right? But if you were to get your finger and just sort of do this, it's a very light coverage. So you just have a think about how your technique is as well with the brush. The same goes for your traditional foundation brush, okay? So you're painting it on. You can go as thick or as light as you like. I always apply foundation with brushes, but with a brush you do tend to get sort of a brush mark. So that's when you buffer, you buff in, or you use your beauty blender, okay? So you would either have a damp one of these, or you would have your buff brush, okay? So this one here, sorry guys, going back to these brushes, this is the Spectrum B01. It is lovely. I love the pink. And this one is the Zoeva 112 Face Curve. Okay. And then this one here is a Zoeva 103 Defined Buffer. Okay. So you would literally just buff it in and it would just blend it out really nicely. You know, a buff brush is a really nice brush to have. However, if you have a damp beauty blender, I used this morning, hence why it's dirty, dampen it out and then literally do this, and you're ironing out all those brush marks or anything like that. Then this is no name. This is literally just sort of, you can use this for anything. You could use it for highlighter, eyeshadow, whatever you, contour if you wanted to. It is, I don't even know where I bought this. It's probably a very, very cheap brush, but it's nice and dense. It's domed and fluffy, and I use this to blend out concealer. So if I put a concealer on a spot, I can blend out the edges. If I put the concealer under my eyes, I then want to blend out the edges, because you don't want it to look steppy. You don't want it to look like you've got foundation then concealer. So you want to blend it out. Okay, so that's the blending brush. Then if you're not going to bake and you just want to apply just a sheer bit of powder, a fluff brush. This is just, oh, it's so cute, so soft. It is just, this is my favourite fluff brush of all. This is beautiful powder brush. It's just, oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's just so soft. You can't even feel it. You can't feel it. And I could just sit here and just fluff it all day. Am I crazy? Yeah. But this is, it's just beautiful. The handle's great because you can hold it and it's weighted and it's lovely. But despite the colour and the shape of the brow, it's the bristles that I love the most. Okay. So you would literally just slightly brush where you, or blush, not brush, swipe, that's the word. Swipe over where you need it to, or you can do an all over, depending on whatever look you're going for. You can't really bake with this one because you're going to like punch it in your eye, you know, you're like, so you would go, now you can go for a small brush. You could go for going back to the little brush like this. You could put your powder on like that. You could get a damp beauty blender and pump the powder there. My favourite is one of these. I think I just got it from like Home Bargains or something, a couple of pounds. I like my deals. And I literally just put the powder in and then just pop it under, and then you can just clean it. It's just a sponge. They're really cool. But you're holding it with this. So yeah, you could get one of those. And then if you are baking, you want to then just sweep it out and just go on your T-zone wherever you need to. You don't have to go with powder, but powder, 1, gets rid of shine, and 2, sets your foundation. But go in with it really lightly, don't pack it on. Then your next, that brush is a brush I sell, by the way. So if you're wanting to have these, we don't do a massive range. We've got a foundation, a powder, a blush, and then some eye and a concealer. So we have a basic range of these. I wish they brought out more because they are just the softest brush that I've touched. But yeah, if you're wanting that, I think that's, from memory, I think this one's the most expensive at £10, so they're not expensive. Anyway, contouring. Okay, so you can go in for either of these. If you're less confident with contouring, go in with one like this. It's angled for you. You know, you can go in and you can, it depends on how you want to hold it, it doesn't matter. You can go in with that lovely curve, and it's slightly blended because it's a fluffier brush, you know, it's gonna give you that sort of bigger shadow, if that makes sense. And then you want to just be blending it up, okay? However, if you're a little bit more confident, going back to this one is the Dew Colour one. These are over a year old. These are what I got with my makeup kit. And yeah, they're Dew Colour. They're 30 quid, I think, for a small set of them. But yeah, nice little contour brush. Then this one is the Lottie London. You can go into Superdrug and get these. It is straight across. It's quite thin. And you want to get in and you want to be creating that, that curve, that shadow, that, that whole want to mold that face kind of thing. But I would only say use these if you're confident in doing contouring, because you will end up you will have a line. Okay, so unless you know how to blend it out, then don't get one of these just yet. Okay. And then blush and bronzing. Now, if you're a bronzing kind of girl like I am, then bronzing basically goes exactly where contour goes, but you want a bigger, fatter brush. So, for example, you've got that one for your contour, and then you've got this one for your bronzer and your blush. Okay, so you want to be bronzing basically all of that area where you're going to be contouring, bronze, fluff right around, where your sun kiss, around your nose, wherever. I sweep up here so it gives me a nice glow under there. And then using either the same brush, or whether it's, you've swept it off with a cotton pad or whatever, however you want to do it, or if you haven't got very much bronzing on there, just go in with your blush. And because it's angled, it's lovely. It just gives you that apple bronzing blush area, and you can either just do it on your apple or you can sweep it up however you want to wear your blush. There is no right or wrong with blush, whatever you feel comfortable with. So, if you just like a little bit there, just remember to blend it out. Don't look like Andy Pandy, and then just blend it out. But if you also like just a bit of blush here, that is also fine too. And you can do it with this because it's angled, okay? Again, one I sell. So this is the blush bronze brush. Blush bronze brush. Say that a few times. And then you've got highlight. Okay, now highlight can be any sort of brush that you feel comfortable with, really. I just picked this one up from Revolution. I do like Revolution. They are a really good brush and they're really cheap. This is like £3, I think. You get what you pay for in brushes, okay? So, it's slightly harsh here, but you're not going to go anywhere near the skin with that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And it's, it's all right. It's okay. I recommend them if you're wanting a value brand, and they're pretty. I love the rose gold. Love it. So this is kind of like a domed kind of. You could use this for baking as well under the eyes. You could even apply foundation with it, I suppose, if you wanted to. I suppose it's an all-round brush. But I use this for my highlight because I like my highlight to be kind of big. So on the top of your cheeks there, I tend to do this before I blush because then I can blend it in nicely. So I would contour, I would bronze, contour, highlight, blush. Okay, and I just sweep it across here. And then, if you're going out and you want it to be a little bit more there, at the end of your nose, Cupid's bow, wherever you want to sort of illuminate, really. And then if you're wanting something a little bit smaller, I have no idea where this brush is from. I think eBay. I think it was a set of like 20 brushes. They are really cheap. I think I paid £10 for them. They're all right. I got them to play around with, really. I don't use them on my clients, just me. This is a sort of an angled brush, and you could highlight if you just want a small area here, or you could do it sort of there above below the brow bone on the Cupid's bow. If you're wanting something a little bit smaller, then just an angled one like that. Now that's your face done. You're looking pretty. And now it's the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to run through these. You're not going to want all of these because some are a little bit more for the experienced. I'm dropping all my brushes now. 1 second. Oh, and I'm back. Back in the room. So I'm going to run through them really, really quickly. So I like to put a translucent powder on my lids because it is so easy to blend the eyeshadows. Okay, so you would go in with a nice fluffy brush. You want it to be really light, really fluffy, not dense at all. And you would just literally sweep all over your eyelid. Okay, you can then, with the same brush, go in with your transition colour, which is your slightly darker than your natural tone. Okay, so you go in with that. With a slightly more dense, because you want a little bit more colour, you would then do your next shade, okay, with that one. These are the Spectrum, so your fluff brush is a Spectrum B06, and then your placement brush, I suppose, your main colour is your Spectrum A08. And then if you're wanting to go in for the more precision areas, like if you want to contour the ends of the eyes, so you know where you see two tones, so it's light here and then dark here. I've talked about the V shape. You would go in with like a pencil brush. So this is a lot more, it's very dense, it's got a point on the end, so you literally can get into the crease and areas like that. So this is the Zoeva 230 pencil brush, okay, but any brush that's that sort of shape works really, really well. And then if you're wanting to apply sort of like a glitter or something that's quite dense and quite heavy, say to the corner of the eye here, sort of right here, I would go in, I would pat the colour on the glitter, and then I would literally just pat it on my eye. What you can do if you're wanting it really, really intense, you could go in with your fingertips, or you could go in and make a cut crease. So that one here is literally just a cheapy one, just one like that. Is, you see, you want it to be flat to be able to just pack it on. But you could go in for a cut crease. Now a cut crease is like, if you aren't aware of what it is, it's like creating a moon, a half moon shape or a quarter moon shape across the eye. So you would create it, it would literally just go, and you'd go here and you would create that with your concealer. While that's damp, you could then go in with this brush and pack on the colour or the glitter, okay? If cut creases is mind-boggling, ignore this one. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. I don't do it every time. I don't do it every time on my clients either. It's only if you're wanting intense colours, okay? And if you do, and you're like a makeup artist, or you're somebody who's really, really keen on the eyeshadows and want to give this a go, this is the Zoeva Soft Concealer 144. It is a really good shape to get in under there, but I'm not going to go into all that. And then if you're wanting to go and give yourself a smoky look, then this is awesome. This brush, this is the Spectrum A16, and you can literally pack it in right in the bottom waterline there, and then you could then just get your one of those brushes, it doesn't really matter, and just fluff it out, you know, blend it out, make it soft so it's not harsh, okay? So that's that. I love to do highlight just here. So I would get, this is a really miniature pencil brush. This is the Petite Pencil by Zoeva 240, okay? And you're literally going in just where, like, almost like where the tear duct is, right there. And you can blend it out, okay? You could also use it for doing there as well if you wanted to. That is a must-have brush if you're wanting to do this sort of the corner, the inner eye. And then I love to pack on mascara. Now, doing your own eyes is a lot easier than if I were to do a client's eyes. I tend to use one of these brushes for top and bottom for mascara, because I can get right in there. If you struggle because your brush is too big on your mascara wand, getting one of these, this is it's the BD tool 731. It's from Beauty Bay. I think it's like £5 or something. And you can literally just go and do the bottom lashes, and you can, you know, it's a really cool brush, but it's one of those that I love as a makeup artist, but for every day you probably wouldn't want to go for that one. And then you've got your brow brushes, okay? So this is my favourite brow brush. Again, one I sell. It is lovely and angled. I like it because it's long and thin, because I like to be able to drag it across, and it just gives me the perfect brow. But you may like something more stubby like this. You know, it doesn't really matter as long as you're comfortable with the brush itself. It needs to be angled though, guys. It needs to be angled. This is the Lottie London one, and then this is the one I sell. Okay. And then just get yourself one of these. You could just get any sort of brush. You could even use an old mascara wand like I do, and then I just literally sweep through and just tidy up the brows, and then feather it at the beginning as well, just to give it a softer look. If you've got tiny little brows, now you could use this brush, and you could literally just draw in the lines and just move it across. This one's a detail liner Zoeva 312. Now this is designed for your eyeliner. So if you're wanting to do an eye flick using gel liner, but I also use it for brows as well. So, you know, it doesn't, your brushes don't have to, you know, if it says it's a foundation brush, but you prefer it for a blush, go with it. You know, there's no brush police out there that's going to come and arrest you. So, you know, play, feel your brush, get used to it. But they're my go-tos. I've got loads of other brushes, but these are the ones that I absolutely adore. So yeah, there you go. If you've got any questions on any of the brushes, didn't quite hear what I said, then just give me a shout. Rewind it, go right down the brush. If you want to quiz me over what sort of brush you should be using for a particular area, give me a shout. You know, I am here to help. Brushes don't need to be scary, so don't be scared of them. Pick it up and have a play. And you know, it doesn't matter what brand they are. You know, it might be the cheapest, but it might be your favourite brush. So don't go out and spend huge amount of money. You know, for example, the most expensive brush that I think for the size is probably this one that I've paid for. This was £10 for this tiny little brush, but it's a must-have because I love it, you know. But then the foundation brush that I bought, £2-3, but I love it. So I don't go on price. I go for what's good and what has good recommendations and reviews and stuff. So I hope that I've helped you a little bit, but please just ask if you need any more help. All right, guys, have a lovely evening, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Mwah.